32 million vehicles on Britain's roads, of which about 500,000 are HGVs. Now, the vast majority of those are driven and operated by compliant drivers and operators. But there will always be a few that aren't. And with so many vehicles on the road, that can mean a real threat to the safety of other road users. Vostra enforcement officers now work 24/7 and have many more officers checking vehicles at the roadside. Vostra is there to ensure that all vehicles meet a minimum safety standard and that drivers of HGV and PSVs don't exceed their legal hours. Vostra is also there to help, and this DVD is a guide for drivers and operators to keep their vehicles safe and roadworthy by drivers carrying out a daily walk-around check and thereby avoiding fixed penalties and even the possibility of immobilisation. So we have a truck and Ian is here from Vostra, and Ian is going to take us through a walk-around check. I'm clearly not a mechanic, Ian, so where do we start?
Well, we don't expect you to be a skilled mechanic. We're not expecting that of any driver. What we're asking them to do is basic walk-round check to see if there's any items loose, likely to fall from the vehicle, any dangerous sharp edges, to make sure the vehicle's roadworthy when they take it out there.
So I guess the place to start is at the front, is it?
Not quite. As you walk towards the vehicle, it's a good idea to look to see if the vehicle's leaning to one side or the other. Potentially that could give you a clue, maybe it's got too much weight on it, it's overloaded. Look down towards the floor, see if there's any signs, because while the truck's been stood there, if there's any oil leaks, fuel leaks, water leaks, you'd see the drips on the floor there.
So I imagine even before you sort of get to that stage, you want to have everything you're going to put in the truck, your bags and all that kind of thing.
Well, you probably would walk up then and put your bags in the cab, yeah. And for the purpose of this film, we're going to build the air up as well, and then we'll do the walk round, but we're not going to start in the cab.
Righto. So, first step?
Well, I'm just going to jump in first of all. So what we'll do is we'll just check the door while we're here anyway. So check the door handle, check the door security. OK, we'll open the door. And before I climb in, I'm just going to check that I'm safe as well. So we'll just check the steps are secure, handles are secure, and then I'll jump up in the cab, build the air, and I'll meet you around the front.
Righto.
OK.
So Ian, you've got the lights on, but it's not actually possible to check all the lights from this position, is it?
No, that's right. So what you can do in this instance is either ask a colleague to give you a hand for a couple of minutes just to switch the lights on for you, or if you were on your own, what you can do is put the lights on, such as the side lights that you can see both of there, that'll stay on permanently, and then other lights, shine them against a wall or a window where you'll get the reflection, and then you can see that they're working.
And then when you are here, I guess it's just a case of having a good look from the top to the bottom?
That's right. There's no set routine for these drivers' checks. All we're saying is that drivers must do them. So get into some kind of routine where you check all the items on the vehicle.
Whatever suits you.
Yeah, that's right. And to suit the vehicle that you've got. So in this case, what we tend to do is get into top, middle, bottom. So in this case, if you look up the top there, we've got the two outline marker lamp lights. They're the little lights at the edges. So we look at those. As we come down, anything insecure, we come down to the windscreen, check that we've got a good view, there's no cracks in it, no damage, nothing obscuring what will be the driver's view. The tax disc and operator licence disc is in place. Then we've got the wipers, which from outside we can just check are secure, and you can just check the rubber there, the blade is okay.
So you can just check that they're physically okay, you can't really tell that they're working until you're inside the cab, can you?
That's right, once we get inside the cab we'll switch them on and check the actual operation of them and how they clear the screen. So
some of these things you're kind of double checking as you make your way around the vehicle.
That's right. All we say is that wherever you start from, work your way around. If you end up back there, you then know you've been all the way around and checked all the items. So then we come down, just look at the grille for any damage, sharp edges, anything likely to fall from the vehicle. The same with the bumper. Like I say, we can see the two indicators are flashing there for the hazards. The lights are on. Check your number plate, check your bumper. We had a look as we walked up to see if there was any drips underneath, and that was clear. So that's the front done. We can then move around to the offside and start our circuit of the vehicle.
So you're just having a good look, really? You don't need to sort of...
That's right, like I said, we're not expecting mechanics. Just a quick check for security and everything looks secure.
Because you say secure, but do you just want people to look, or do you want to?
You can look,
know,
you
give it a
can
good
touch, you know, but you can generally, I mean, we can see from this, there's nothing hanging, nothing loose. But yeah, it is quite good practice to go around and just physically check your items. And that's the front done. So then we can move off around the offside and begin our circuit.
Cool. So we've already checked the door, haven't we? Because that's the first thing we did. What next when we're around here?
Well, keep with the routine of top, middle and bottom. So on this one, as you come down, we've got the mirror. So we can reach up, just check the mirror security. You can see the glass from here, but obviously we'll check the view through the mirror once we're sat in the driver's seat. So we just check the security. Coming down then, so we've got the wing, we've got our side repeater, our indicator lamp there. That's working, it's secure. And then we're down to the wheel and the tyre. So on this, what we're looking for is any signs of obvious damage, any cuts. Look at the tread. We can have a look to see how much depth is on the tread there, make sure we've got enough. Make sure there's no ball patches where...
How much should you have on the tread?
For a vehicle like this, you need to have at least 1 millimetre tread, but that's the legal minimum requirement. You know, you probably want more than that on there,
Preferably.
and most tyre companies would say so.
Now,
So,
obvious point, but there's always going to be a bit of the tyre that you can't see, isn't there?
that's right. So you check as much as you can now, and then you could roll the vehicle forward a foot or so and have a look at the rest of the tyre, the bit that was down there, you can see it.
Great.
So that's the tyre. Come down and look at our wheel nuts. Now this vehicle's got what we call a step ring and wheel nut covers on. So we can't actually tap them or anything to have a look at them, but what you can do is look for rust marks, indication. You get rust lines coming up if they're loose. So you can look out for those. They give you an indication that the wheel nuts have been moving.
Cool. What about those yellow things you see on some wheels?
Ah, right, I've got one there. Those kind of things.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, these are called wheel nut indicators. If these didn't have the plastic caps on, you can put these over the wheel nut.
Right.
And what you do, you line them with the one up on the next wheel nut along. So they're just pointing at each other. Simple but effective means of just showing whether the wheel nut's moved. If the driver comes along and the indicator's pointing up there, down there, it means that the nut's obviously moved and he needs to get it checked. Sometimes you get red ones on there. They're generally fitted by the tyre companies. It means that the wheel's been off, the wheel nuts have been off, probably for the tyre changed, and they put them on there to indicate, look, these have had the wheel nuts off and they need the wheel nuts retorquing after so much time or so much mileage travelled.
And how urgent is that if a VOSA enforcement officer sort of saw a truck on the road with its wheel indicators all over the place?
Well, we wouldn't generally rely on those themselves.
Okay.
We would check the actual wheel nuts.
But it's a good way of
properly.
checking
It's
for
a
the
simple
driver.
but effective method for the driver just to keep a visual check on it, yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving back again, we've got the wing and the spray suppression there. Now this shouldn't be clogged up with mud and debris, it should be quite clear. So once again, we step back. We've got the spoiler, just check it for security. Check for security, our side marker light is working, just check it for security.
And if anything was loose, I imagine something like this would be a pretty urgent problem, wouldn't it?
Well, we don't want it falling from the vehicle and causing a danger to other road users, so yeah, get it in there and get it secured before you go out on the road. Moving back, once again, we're going to go with the top, middle, bottom. So
Yeah.
on this one, we've got this great big exhaust stack pipe. So really all we need to check on that is security. So it's got the handle on there, we can just give it a pull and make sure it's okay. Coming down, we've got the battery cover and the battery's under there. All we can do there, just check the secure,
Yep.
check our panel. Now, between the vehicle there, we've got our air connections. Our Susies, that's right. So we've got our air and our electrics. We've got to make sure, obviously, they're all plugged in. And the thing about the air connections is, you can see you've got a red and a yellow one.
Yeah.
Well, when you plug the red one in, there's a self-sealing valve on there. When you plug it in, you should hear a rush of air into the trailer. That gives you an indication that the self-sealing valve is lifting and letting air flow through to the trailer. Now on the yellow one, we can have a look at the general condition of it and you can see the valve in the end. Just check it's not been dragged along the floor, it's not worn. Plug it in and then either get your colleague and you stand by the trailer, or even lean in yourself, press the brake pedal, and you should hear the trailer brakes operating. That'll give you an indication it's working okay.
Okay.
Now, the other thing to be aware of is if we've got EBS, electronic braking on the trailer, then the EBS Susie, the electrical Susie, must be plugged in to ensure that everything's working correctly on the trailer. and the two vehicles are working together.
So in short, you're just checking that all plugged in properly?
That's right. They're not kinked, twisted, damaged in any way. We obviously start now with the front of the trailer as well. Yeah. So once again, top, middle and bottom. Make sure you know the height of your vehicle. Think bridges. So right at the top there, you can see the end outline marker for the trailer, the little light up there. So check that's in place. Coming down, we've got the curtain. Holding the curtain secure, we've got a metal pole in there. We've just got to check that that's in place. We don't want the metal pole swinging out and hitting anyone. Held in place by the ratchet, that's all secure. Come down, we've got our end outline marker. Just check the light's secure, we can see it's working. We've also got our ABS light and our reflector there. The ABS light, we can check that it works by either getting a colleague to press the brake for us and it should light up, or I could open the door, lean in and press the pedal myself. And then we've got a side marker lamp there. Just check that that's in place and we can see it's working. Coming back once again, we've got the curtain. All we're looking for on the curtain is that there's no big rips in it, it's not damaged in any way, that it will contain the load that's inside. And the straps should be secured and tightened up. There's a nice big hook on the bottom of that. You wouldn't want that swinging out and hitting anyone.
No.
Then we get to the wing. Just check the wing is secure. It's not likely to come off. Back to the wheel. Same checks as we've done on the front. Check the tyre for the cuts, etc. Check the wheel nuts. The other thing we've got that we can see is inside there, you can see that metal disc. That's actually the brake disc. We can look through there, just check whether it's cracked, it's in good condition. That's about as much as we can do. And then moving along, we've got a marker light yet again. Curtain, strap, same checks every side. Everyone would check, yeah. Our spray suppression, security. And then we get to the fifth wheel, or the trailer coupling. So we just need to check on this. We've got the handle there, and they have safety locking devices to ensure that nobody can pull them and they don't come undone by mistake. In this case, we've got the clip in there that you can see is clipped in place. And we've also got on the end of the cable, you see that other little metal bar that's moving. That just stops the handle going forward, so you can't inadvertently pull it out and release the trailer.
So you just want to check that all that's there and where it should be?
It's all clipped in and it's all in place. The devices are in place, yeah. Then we've got the mounting bolts that you can see there, all along, holding the fifth wheel to the chassis. So we're just looking again for signs of rust around there, that they've not been moving, there's no signs of any movement, any looseness. Coming back once again, we've got the wing. Same checks again now. Wing, tyre, wheel nuts. Just check for the same things yet again.
So same checks on all the wheels and of course on all
check
the straps.
Check our straps. Look at our curtain again. Continue this all the way down the vehicle, that's right.
Great.
Okay, moving along, checking the straps as you go.
Nice view of the lights there.
That's right. So we've checked the wing, checked the lamp for security, got a reflector on the side there. And if we just take a step back, we can actually see the lamps on both sides of the unit from this position. So we've got the side lights are on, we've also got the indicators flashing, the hazard lights are switched on, we can see the indicators are working. We've got a brake application tool on the brake pedal in this case to assist us with the film, so we can see the brake lights are working. Also on the back there, we can see our number plates secured and in place. We've got this big air tank there, two straps on it, both looking secure, it's not moving. We've also, you can see the airbag, which is the suspension on this vehicle. It's in place, it's secure, it looks in good condition, and we can move on from there. We've got a marker light on the trailer. As we go along, check our straps again. Brings us to the landing leg on the trailer.
Pretty important.
Nice simple check on that. We're just looking that it's not likely to fall from the vehicle. So just put your foot on it, shake it. Yep, it's secure, it's not going anywhere. Move back again, curtain, strap.
And I imagine you've got to be thinking about the load all the time as well.
That's right. I mean, from outside on this particular vehicle, there's not a lot you can see. Once the vehicle's in and secured, from the outside, we're just checking the curtain. But you're looking, make sure the load's not protruding through anywhere that could cause any damage to the curtain, and obviously check the straps are secure. Now, that's on this particular vehicle. On different vehicles, it depends for what they're being used for. You may have a tanker, for instance, in which case on that you may have discharge tube carriers on the side, which are like trays. You carry them for your tubes for discharging your load. Check they're secure, check the pipes aren't going to come off. You may have crane legs if you've got a high-ab type vehicle, so you want to make sure the crane legs are secured, they're not going to slide out while the vehicle's moving and cause anyone any injury. If it's a skeletal type trailer, then look at the twist locks, make sure the twist locks are in good working order, not damaged, not likely to come off the vehicle, they're not cracked. and they're going to secure the load.
So just basically making sure that everything's where it should be and it's secure.
That's all we're asking the drivers to do, yeah.
Cool.
Check our underarm bar there, which stops anything, as the name suggests, going under the vehicle. Nice simple check on that. That's the one. Just put your foot on it.
And then just follow the same
Top, middle,
procedure.
bottom. Underneath there now you've just got the chassis. You have a quick look at that. Well, it'd have to be something major on there. You know, you can have a quick glance, another marker light, and then we just repeat the procedure all the way down until we get to the next wheels. In this particular case with this trailer, we've got a tri-axle, 3 axles, exactly the same on each axle. Check the wing, check the spray suppression, tyres, wheel nuts. Side marker lights as we go, and then keep moving along. Get to a position like this, you could just have a quick look under, see if anything's hanging from the trailer, from the vehicle, until we get round to the back.
Top, middle, bottom?
That's the one. So, up the top, what do you think we'll look for?
Marker lights.
That's correct. They're lit, they're working. That's about all we can do from here. Coming down on the doors, we've got, check the doors are shut securely, check the handles are in place. They're not going to come open inadvertently. The locks are in place. Moving down, we've got the lights. We've got our brake applicator tool on. So we've got all our lights on. We can see our brake lights are working, our indicators working, side lights are on, reflectors in place, fog lights working. Number plates in place and secure.
And it's lit.
Held in place, that's right, the light's on. We've got the underarm bar, I think we might check that. That's it, nice straightforward check, it's secured, it's in place. Our marker boards, these shouldn't be obliterated, they should be nice, clean, reflective, so that drivers can see them from the rear. And just before we go back, go round, you see the trailer sat square. Looks like it's sat square, there's no problem with the suspension, the load appears to be distributed correctly inside.
Yeah, all looks pretty good to me.
And then we can move on down the near side.
So again, repeating the same procedure, top, middle, bottom, and of course not forgetting the fuel tank on this side.
That's right. So as we go, top, middle and bottom again, check the straps, and then move along, check the wheels, the wings, the lights, etc.
Yeah. So, we're in, hopped in. I guess the first place you start is with your seating arrangement.
That's a good idea. So, sat in the driver's seat, check the seat's secure, that it's not likely to move anywhere whilst I'm driving, and then check the seat belt. If there's one fitted, you must wear it. So we're checking this for signs of cuts, damage or fraying that might impede its action. Plug it in, check that it's secure, it stays in place. Check that it retracts against me, so it's going to do its job. And for the purpose of film, I'll take it off again. And just check that it does retract.
Yeah, of course. So when we were outside, we were doing top, middle, bottom. Is it the same procedure here or not?
Yeah, pretty much. I tend to start over there and sweep across. So starting, if you like, at the top, we've got the view through that window. Check that it's not obscured, any stickers or anything else blocking my view through the mirrors. Look through the mirrors, we check the security when we were outside, check the view to the rear, then sweep across looking at the windscreen, looking for cracks, damage, anything that might restrict my view through the windscreen. Come across to your offside mirror, check the view through the mirror to the rear once again. Back to the near side, sweeping across, looking at the dashboard. First thing I've got a bank of switches, but the first one I'm interested in is the hazard warning switch. So click that on there, and my telltale, and we can hear that clicking away anyway. So we know that's working and the switch is okay. Moving along, now it's not something that our examiners check, but what we would do because of the cold weather is just check the demisters working. So we can hear the blowers are clearing the windscreen there. Coming across then, we've got the steering wheel. Now we need to check that that's not damaged in any way that's going to injure my hands and impede my driving. So just check that there's no cracks, damage, and then check it's secure, not likely to go anywhere. Then we can look at the stalk switches. So we've got the switch there, check it's secure, we've got the horn. So we know that's working. Then we've got the wipers and the washers. So we check those, that they're clearing the windscreen. We check the security of those outside, if you remember. So we've now just checked the swept area and they clear the screen effectively. Coming across then, we've got the light switch. So check that's secure. And if we switch it on, we've already checked the lights outside, of course. check that the dashboard, we've got the air gauges, the fuel gauge, the speedometer there, and we need to check that they will actually illuminate, because obviously if I'm driving in poor light or night time, I need to be able to see those instruments. So we put the side lights on and just shade them and have a look to ensure that they are lit up. You can just flip them on and off to check. So check the light switch, and then coming back across now at the lower level, we've got the gear stick. So just check that that's secure, obviously that we can use it, there's no sharp edges on it. We've also got just there the handbrake, ensure that it should be on obviously at the moment, and it's clicked into position, it's okay. Below, we haven't got a clutch on this vehicle, so we can check our brake pedal. We check the anti-slip on there as well, so that my foot doesn't slip off, that there's anti-slip provision. We can apply the foot brake and hold it down. Keep an eye on the air gauges to see if they're dropping, to see if I've got any signs of an air leak. And if we've got the window open nice and quiet, we can listen, see if there's any leaks. Or we could get a colleague to do it or put our applicator tool on. So there's no leaks there. Check the accelerator. The pedal's okay, it's secure. One final thing down there in the footwell, look for any rubbish or bits of things rolling around. For example, a can of pop. If you're driving along and you're slow, it could roll forward and jam under the brake pedal. Be quite dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
So just check that area is clear.
And Ian, I guess one of the most important things inside the cab is going to be the tachograph, isn't it?
That's right, in this vehicle it's up there.
Uh-huh.
Now, before you do driver's checks, you would put your chart in there so it's recording that you're actually working.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, for the purpose of the film, we're doing it this way around. So what we need to do is, first of all, you need to check the tachograph is in date, it's been calibrated, which on this vehicle is on a plaque down by the door pillar. Then, we need to open the tachograph in this case. You see it drops down there.
Yep.
And then we check that it's got an E number. The maximum speed is on there as well. Have a look what type of chart we've got and make sure your chart's filled in correctly. We've already filled a chart in. Make sure you fill your centre field in correctly. And then insert your chart. Make sure it sits over there nicely. Close the tacho. And then also check the time is correct. Make sure it's displaying the right one. And see if there's any messages or lights flashing to indicate there's a fault. And then lastly, make sure you set we're driver 1. Make sure we set this to the crossed hammers or the working symbol.
Right, yeah.
And then we're ready to continue with our work.
Good. And how long do you have to keep reports?
The records, the charts, if it's an analogue tachograph like this one, you need to keep the chart for the day that we're driving today and charts for any driving that you've done on the previous 28 days, so you need to carry those with you. If you've got a digital tachograph, you need to have your driver's card, which is like a bank card, and it records all the details of all the driving that you've done.
You need to have
so you need to carry those. Now, if you've driven different vehicles, i.e. a vehicle with an analogue tachograph, you'll need the charts for the days that you drove that vehicle or vehicles, and then you'll also need to carry your driver's card so that you can produce those records. Remember, once you've been issued with a driver's card, you need to carry it with you at all times.
Now, we seem to have done quite a comprehensive check, walk-around check. Is there anything else that's left?
No, I think that's just about it. We're ready to drive on. The only other important point to mention is, if you're doing a job where you're swapping trailers a lot, ensure if you go along later in the day and drop your trailer and pick up a new trailer, make sure you do another walk-around check on that trailer before you take it out.
Now, we didn't find any faults on our walk-around check, but if you had, what would you do? If we find any faults, first thing is we don't take the vehicle out. We need to make sure we report those faults. So we'd have some kind of reporting system. You must have a system in place. In this case, we can fill in a driver's daily defect report. So if we found a fault, there's certain minimum items you need to record, such as the vehicle registration number, the mileage, the driver's name, in which case it'd be me, and then there's some tick boxes there. So we've got the things that we've been looking at, such as fuel leaks, oil leaks, battery security, security of the load, etc. And you'd make a mark against any of those that were defective, tick any that were correct, and report the defects there. And then this has got 2 copies. We can hand one in at our transport to our transport manager or the workshop, and then they can rectify the fault. Now, if you'd done a walk-around check like we have and not found any faults, would you still fill in a form or not? Yeah, it's a very good idea. We call that a nil report, and you simply would write on there nil defects, i.e. you didn't find anything.
Now, you don't need to keep those for as long. You only need to keep those until the next check is done. So if there's another check done that records then a nil or defects, that obviously supersedes the nil one. Or it gets its next safety inspection.
And I guess in this day and age, you could keep all these records electronically, could you?
That's right, you can.
And there's probably, is there a book on all of this?
You're quite right, there is. We've produced the Guide to Maintaining Roadworthiness, which takes us through all the items that we've checked. And there's even, just for you, actually it's for anybody that wants one, a detachable poster in the back, which shows you the check that we've carried out. All the items on the truck there that you check and the things that we've been looking at today. So I'll let you take that.
So a full guide to the walk-around check.
That's right.
Where would I get this if I was a driver?
All the contact details to get hold of these are on the menu on this DVD, and you can also go on the Vosa website and download it for free.
Brilliant. I guess then we're ready to roll.
That's right. The only other thing worth pointing out is once the driver is in motion, once he's driving his vehicle, he continues to monitor the performance of his vehicle. So things like, is the steering wandering? When he applies the brakes, does the vehicle pull to one side or the other? He's the person that's monitoring it and can report those defects.
Now, Ian, we've gone through this really thoroughly and very comprehensively, but in reality, it would only take a driver just a couple of minutes to do one of these walk-around checks, wouldn't it?
That's right, yeah. We've taken time to explain what we're doing. Once a driver gets into his routine and does it regularly, it's only going to take a couple of minutes to do the walk-around check and potentially avoid a lot of problems once it gets going on the road.
So I guess the main message is to really be aware and just to be aware of safety at all times. And
yeah,
by carrying out a simple walk-around check like the one we've just done, you're preventing fixed penalty notices, getting points on your licence, and even that possibility of immobilisation.
That's correct, yeah.
Ian, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.